Hello all, this is Joshua and we're back in the Battle for Azeroth Alpha with another leveling spec preview for the Retribution class Paladin. Now, as always, anybody who's new to this, I'm just going to go over and give you my thoughts on what's best for actually leveling, just adventuring out, doing quests, things like that. Is not meant for an overall, it's just my opinion. It's not meant for overall what's going to be better at best at end game when you're 120 and have all your Azeroth gear and everything else, just for leveling and to just for starting off and maybe doing some dungeons and quests, things like that. If you're new to the channel, please leave a like and subscribe. And now I guess on with the show. I'll go over the talents here, and then afterwards I will let you know why I'm running what I am. In the 15 row, we have Zeal, which grants your Judgement Zeal, causing your next 3 auto attacks to attack 50% faster, and it deals an additional little over 200 holy damage. Then we have Righteous Verdict, which makes your Templarian Verdict increase the damage of your next Templarian Verdict by 15% for 6 seconds. Next up in this row, we have Execution Sentence, which delivers a blow that deals a little over 2400 holy damage, and any holy damage done against your target is increased by 20% for 12 seconds. This does have it does cost 3 holy power and is on a 30-second cooldown. Out of these 3, honestly, for leveling, I just find the Righteous Verdict, the extra 15% is fine. I honestly think this is not going to be used much even in dungeons or stuff unless something I think is a waste of 3 holy power in its current iteration, to be quite blunt. Zeal's not bad, but I just don't. I think overall, I think the Righteous Verdict just works better. In the next row, we have the Fires of Justice. Reduces the cooldown of your Crusader Strike by 1 second and gives it a 15% chance to reduce the cost of your next Holy Power spender by 1. Now, I've used this. I did a bunch of quests and stuff on this, and it didn't really pop all that much. It may change over time because they haven't got around to the tweaking and stuff of talents. But as of right now, not that great. Blade of Wrath, your auto attacks have a chance to reset the cooldown of Blade of Justice. Kind of in the same boat as Fires of Justice. I don't know if it just made my bad luck, but it did not pop a whole lot for me in the while testing it. Next up we have Hammer of Wrath, whose instant cast is it has a 5 little oversized second cooldown, and basically you hurl a magic hammer at an enemy and do a little over 1600 holy damage. It's only usable on targets that have less than 20 health or during Crusade, which is this talent down here, which we'll get to in a minute. I found this to be actually really cool because it does generate 1 holy power, and over the other 2, as I said, since this is more use on demand, it's quite nice with, I think it synergizes quite nice with Crusade and a few other things, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'm kind of definitely hoping that some of these get a little tweaked, because I would like if Blade of Wrath or Fires of Justice popped a little bit more. I think it will. I think they would be better than the Hammer of Wrath myself, but again, just my opinion. Next up in the next rows, we have this is your crowd control row here. You have Fist of Justice, which each holy power you spend reduces the cooldown on your Hammer of Justice by 2 seconds. Hammer of Justice, of course, is right here. That's your stun. Next up we have Repentance. It has a 1.49 cast time, is on a 15-second cooldown, and basically it incapacitates you at 1 target for 1 minute. It's usable against humanoids, demons, undead, dragonkin, and giants. This would be pretty good in dungeons when you need crowd control, when you need that target off to the side or something that you want to crowd control. I am running Blinding Light, which is an instant cast. It has a 1.5 second cooldown, and basically it emits dazzling light in all directions. It just basically blinds your enemy, makes them wander around and disorient for a few seconds. Non-holy damage will break the effect, so just to be aware of that. This is nice just for kind of like a little oh crap button when you get to, when you've pulled one too many things and you need a few seconds to maybe, you know, burst down a target or two. The other two I think will be more useful in dungeons and such. I definitely think Repentance will have its day for crowd control in dungeons or raids and Mythic Plus and stuff like that. Next up, in this row we have Divine Judgment, which is a passive. Each enemy hit by your holy power spenders increase the damage of your next judgment by 15%, stacking up to 15 times. This is actually pretty nice. If it wasn't for one thing unholy and the Ashes of Wake of Ashes, I would probably be running this. This is actually pretty decent. I think it's a little better for dungeons again and raiding. I just don't. I think for just leveling purpose, I think the consecration, which let's get to that real quick, is a 20-second cooldown. A 20-second cooldown. It concentrates the land beneath you, and it causes a little over 7,600 holy damage over 6 seconds to any enemies who are in the area. This is not bad for a 20-second cooldown. I kind of wish it was a 15, but this is really nice. It's decent damage. I'm not running this because I think the generation of 5 holy power for Wake of Ashes is better. But again, I think this will come into its own for other purposes. But for leveling, I am going. My personal choice is Wake of Ashes, which is basically your artifact power from your artifact weapon ability, rather, from Legion. And it's on a 45-second cooldown, and it makes you basically deal a little over 2,800 damage to all enemies in 12 yards in front of you. And it also reduces their speed by about 50% for 5 seconds. And it also, demons or undead enemies are also stunned for 5 seconds. Now this I think will do nice in some of the dungeons too, because I know at least some of the Alliance dungeons have a lot of undead in them. Excuse me, I was quite parched. So this works out really well, and it also generates 5 holy power every time you click it. This is synergizes really well with Crusade, which we'll get to in just a minute. And this is your kind of self movement and self healing kind of line here. We have divine. We have can't talk English. We have Cavalier, which makes your divine steed now has 2 charges. This I'm just using because these two aren't bad, but honestly, with Selfish Healer, I haven't run into too many situations that I think require the use of one of these two. Next up, we have Unbreakable Spirit, reduces the cooldown your Divine Shield, Shield of Vengeance, and Lay on Hands by 30%. Now, I do think this will probably be used more. I still think this will probably be used more in raids than Unbreakable Spirit, but this will definitely have its uses. Next up, we have Eye for an Eye, which is on a 1-minute cooldown, and it reduces your physical damage you take by 35%, and instantly counter-strikes any enemy that strikes you in melee combat for a little over 500 physical damage, and it lasts for 10 seconds. This is on not a huge cooldown, but I do think the Cavalier will be the go-to for most things. Okay, in this row we have Selfless Healer, which is basically what it is on live right now. Your Judgment reduces the cast time of your next flash of light by 33% and increases its healing done on others by 10%, and it stacks up to 3 times. This is extremely useful in my opinion, especially out just leveling. You can get pretty decent sized groups, 3 or 4, and get judgments and stuff off, and then you can heal yourself up. So I think it's quite nice. Then we have Justicar's Vengeance, which is a 5 holy power spender. is a weapon damage strike that deals over 2,000 holy damage and restores health equal to the damage done. It deals 50% additional damage to and healing when used against a stunned target. This is pretty neat, but it's for a 5 holy power. I'm sorry, but Selfish Healer is just way better. The Flash of Light, the healing on Flash of Light, especially upgraded by 30% for 3 times, is ridiculous compared to this. So I think it's just a waste. I do not think many people will take this, especially not for leveling. Next up we have Word of Glory, which is 3 power holy power spender, and it's on a 1-minute recharge. It has 2 charges, and it heals the 3 most injured players within 30 yards for a little over 6,000. This is quite nice. I do think you probably run this for rating or Mythic Plus dungeons. I think the nice extra heal for just like an little old crap moment for your party or something, I think it'll come in handy. But I don't think either one of these are worth, especially for leveling, over Selfless Healer. There we go. And last in the 100 row, we have Divine Purpose, which is a passive, and it makes your holy power spenders have a 20% chance to make your next holy power spending ability free. Again, this may be probably better at 120, but right now it does not pop very often. That 20% chance is not seeming like a whole lot right now. Right now we have I'm running Crusade. This replaces your Avenging Wrath. Is 2-minute cooldown. Increases your damage done and haste by 3% for 25 seconds. In addition, each holy power spent during Crusade increases damage done and your haste by an additional 3%, and it has a maximum stack of 10. Now, this synergizes again really well with your Wake of Ages, because basically you can sit there and just get a ton of holy power and stuff off within just 4 or 5 cooldowns. You can just bam, you've got a ton of extra haste, which means your cooldowns are lower, which means you can get more holy power to spend in that 25-second window. Kind of wish this was on a 1 minute or 1.5 minute cooldown, but who knows, maybe that would change. And lastly, we have Inquisition. This is a 1, 2, 3 power holy power spender, and it consumes up to 3 holy power to increase your damage done and haste by 8%, excuse me, and it lasts for 15 seconds per holy power consumed. Now, I was running this earlier, and it's not too bad. I actually like it. For the most part, I hate that I really have to spend holy power on it instead of being able to, spend it on my Templar's Verdict or my Divine Storm, depending on what I need it for. But overall, it's not too bad. It is a nice haste boost, little haste boost. But overall, I do think Crusade is the better choice, at least for leveling. Well, there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really am enjoying Ret. It hasn't really changed that much from live, at least not yet. We'll have to see what they get when we get into beta, which I do think will only be a few weeks or so more before they change it over from alpha to beta, because they are putting a ton of stuff in every build right now. But I'm enjoying Ret. I'm actually enjoying Ret a lot more on the alpha than I am live. I really don't like Ret too much right now live, though it hasn't really changed much. I don't know what it's about it. Maybe it's just the it is my nice little sweet little Dark Iron Dwarf I have here, but I have been enjoying it quite a bit. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave a like. Have a good day, and as always, I will see you next time.